Welcome to this week's Torah lesson. This week's Torah portion is Parsha's Chukas. The question of the week is, what is the best way to connect to Hashem? So in this week's Torah portion, Parsha's Chukas, the Torah begins where Hashem speaks to Moshe and Aaron to tell them, Zois Chukas HaTorah. This is the statue of the whole Torah. And then it goes on to speak about specifically about the commandment of the red heifer. So the Rebbe asks a simple question. If the Torah is just telling us the commandment of the red heifer, the Parah Aduma, why does it say Zos Chukas HaTorah? It should say Zos Chukas HaParah. This is the statue of the Parah Aduma. So the Rebbe explains, based on the teaching of the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, and his classical work on the Torah portion in Likutei Torah, and the Alter Rebbe explains as follows. We know there's something which is called Torah Shebeksav, the written law, and we know there's something which is called Torah Sheba'al Peh, the oral law. Then the Alter Rebbe says there's something which is called Chukas HaTorah, a whole different level. What is the difference between Chukas HaTorah and Torah Shebeksav and Torah Sheba'al Peh? The Alter Rebbe explains as follows. Torah Shebeksav means that you have a book that's written with ink on the book. That means there's ink connected to the book, which is a great connection. What happens, God forbid, if the ink rubs off? There's no more book left. Torah Sheba'al Peh is not even written down. So even though it's Torah, but it's possible, God forbid, there should be a disconnection. Chukah comes from the word of chakika, where it's carved out from the stone itself. So in other words, that's a level of Torah where it's totally one with Hashem. So based on this, the Alter Rebbe explains, there's different levels in our relationship with Hashem when it comes to learning Torah and doing mitzvahs. There's the learning Torah and doing mitzvahs on a level of Torah Shebeksav and Torah Sheba'al Peh, where we and the Torah are connected, but it's two different things. There's us, there's the Torah, there's us, the mitzvot, and we connect. But then there's Chukas HaTorah, when the Torah and the mitzvahs are one with us. And that is why the Torah says Zois Chukas HaTorah, because it's not only speaking about this specific mitzvah Parah Aduma. It's talking about a whole new way to connect to Hashem on the level of Chukas HaTorah, where we become one with Hashem through studying Torah and doing mitzvahs. So the Alter Rebbe says, and the Rebbe explains, it's seemingly very, very hard. But nevertheless, we find when Hashem gave us the 10 Commandments, so the 10 Commandments were carved into the tablet of stone. So from there we have the inspiration that just like the 10 Commandments were given to us and they were carved into the stone, and now that we know when Hashem gave the 10 Commandments, when He uttered the 10 Commandments, the voice was heard from all four corners of the world. So when you become part with something, it becomes real and it has a tremendous impact and a tremendous effect. So even though it's hard, so the Rebbe quotes from Maimonides, Mishnah Torah, in the laws of Lulav and Sukkot, that he speaks about when a person serves Hashem, you have to serve Hashem with simcha, with joy. And the Rambam writes, even though it's a difficult thing, it's a hard thing to always serve Hashem with simcha, but nevertheless, we have the power and we could do it if we want to do it. So the same thing also Rebbe says over here, if we want to connect to Hashem on the highest level, we can if we're willing to do so. So to answer the question, what is the best way to connect to Hashem? The best way to connect to Hashem is like Chukas HaTorah, where us and the Torah, us and the mitzvahs are one. Not, God forbid, where Hashem is on the guest list, but Hashem is part of our life in a real way, just like the engraving in a stone, it's part of the stone. The same thing also, the Torah and the mitzvahs that we learn and we do is really who we are and part of our true essence. Thanks so much for joining us for our weekly Torah lesson. This week's Torah lesson is memory of Baruch ben Aryeh Leib, Shlomo ben Yosef, and Rachel Bas Lipa. May their souls be elevated by the Torah that we're studying in their memory. For more information, please see our website, chabadswf.org. Have a great and blessed week.